Bro, this weren't no little county lines ting in it. These man, they were moving like a cartel, proper organized, you get me? 13 lines deep, over 1,400 clients on tap, messages flying out like mad, non-stop, all day, heroin, crack, pushing gear across the East Midlands, Notts, Derby, Leicester, Lincoln, even Aberdeen, blood. This ain't no back alley setup. This was a full-blown machine, structured like business, run by fear, and masked in drill vids, drip and flexing for clout. This crew weren't just local youths slinging packs. They were sharp, disciplined, no nonsense. Leaders, names like Jeffet Ficula and C4 Cube, yeah. Even had youths, 16-year-olds, getting sent out to trap full-time. Addicts, bro, they turned them into mules, and every move they made, backed by threats or straight up violence, they flexed heavy, fam. Rolexes, Rolls Royces, Dom P in the vids, all over Insta, Snap, music videos, acting like the feds ain't even real, like they were untouchable. But yeah, then the drop came, big multi-force ting, proper serious, one of the largest knots has ever seen, no joke. And in 2025, it all caught up in it. 12 man down, 30 years total behind bars. That whole empire, gone, crumbled. All that pain they pushed, covered up. Real talk, yeah? This ain't no clout chase or drill anthem. We're talking real ends, real damage. Yours getting groomed, runners getting moved like pawns, and a whole empire built off pain and fear crashed down brick by brick. This is ends unshanked, raw truth from the bits. No lies, no filters. If this hit you deep, fam, do the thing. Smash that like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe in it, because the next story might be closer to home than you think. Let's run it. Started from deep in the knot street scene, a city that's seen madness before, but nothing like this, trust me. At the heart, Jeffet Ficula, 29. Feds called him a commanding presence. He weren't just moving product. He ran everything. Deals, lines, discipline. He didn't want a piece of the pie, nah. He wanted the whole thing. Every single postcode in the East Midlands. Under control next to him, C4 Cube, also 29. That one loved image, bruv. Just as deep in the trap as he was in the gram. Motors, bottles, ice. But beneath the flash, he was cold, calculated. Even had notepads planning out how to clock 20 pair a week. Selling gear. It wasn't just about food on the road. Man was building a brand. Recruitment. Bruv. Surgical. They didn't just grab anyone. They picked the broke, the lost, the vulnerable. Most were youths. Bare underage. Had no chance to resist. One 16-year-old slapped under Ramon Campbell trapping full time. And that weren't rare innit. That was the system built into how they moved. As they got bigger, roles got sharper. Kemen Manto ran multiple lines. Even after feds nabbed him, Terrell Patterson and Samuel Grant held down day-to-day ops in knots, packaging, drops, runners. This weren't messy street stuff. This was clockwork business, blood. But it wasn't just what they sold that made them dangerous. It was how they moved it. They studied the streets like students, knew what the fiends wanted, kept supply low, demand high, and backed it all with fear. By the time feds really saw it, this weren't no little gang. This was a drug empire trying to own the map. Ficula's yard turned hotspot. Raids pulled up food, burners, even a live strap. This thing had passed the money stage. They were armed, active, tight. Started out small, but it built fast. And soon, no one could touch it. 13 lines at their peak. In it, each tied to a separate phone. Those phones, tools of the trade, used 24/7 to handle orders, send out deals, fix drop-offs. And they weren't just burners. They were staffed, blood, loaded with sims, dropping lines like best gear in town or 2 for 1 tonight. Cops clocked over 33,000 messages just from the phones. That's levels, serious levels. Them phones alone gave them digital grip on 1,400 plus users, most of them addicts, all vulnerable. And the texts weren't random. They were crafted, slang, pressure, deals, marketing. But for crack, mad in it. Their web was long, bro. Hucknall, Mansfield, Ripley, Ilkeston, Aberdeen. Every line had structure, line holders, runners, logistics, God praise Bowen, 25, managed 2 main lines. Gale Land, the quartermaster, he moved both gear and bread up the ranks. And they weren't just moving food, they were making it fast, cutting cocaine in trap houses, paracetamol, caffeine, whatever stretched the profit. Bailey Reed, 25, moved 2 kilos of cutting powder on his own. Weak gear but deadlier and more profitable. Everything ran like clockwork. Comms, rows, profits. Everyone had jobs. Everything was logged. No sloppiness, no slip-ups. It looked like a firm, but it was fear and greed underneath, and it left bare lives shattered. Brother, this weren't business. It just looked like it. Deep down, it was fear, greed, and bare broken lives in it. In some ends, even the local dealers had to pay up just to touch their food. That's how deep they locked the block. They weren't just moving packs. They became the plugs. Plug, you get me? Big moves. Everything ran digital, encrypted apps, bare phones, dirty notebooks full of numbers and tick lists. And the socials, constant noise, kept their name ringing in the streets and online. They knew this thing wasn't just fear. It was about looking patterned, looking active, and being everywhere, blood. But the louder they got, the more mess they made. New phones, new lines. Every new trap house left a mark. Feds in nuts, calmly tracing it all, one drop at a time. See, in this county lines game, it ain't just about who's got the food. It's about fear and spectacle, fam. These man, they clocked at early doors, used branding like a weapon, threats on road, flex on the gram, kept addicts hooked, rivals shaking, youths inspired. Jeffit for killer sat on top, strapped, ready, unshaken. He moved like a general, didn't need to talk tough. His presence said it all. When feds raided his yard, they found a live piece and rounds. No doubts, he was prepped to go that far to hold his spot. He weren't no middle link, he was the head, the boss man, and he ruled through straight terror. Backing him, Ramon Campbell, C4 Cube, solid soldiers, in the chain. Campbell, he got bagged for using a 16-year-old to push gear, and not cause he had no options. Nah, it was straight strategy, cold, calculated. Boy was under his full control, moved like a chess piece, thrown into madness. Every day, Cube though, different lane. He sold the lifestyle, champagne, chains, 20K a week targets. His whole image, a warning and an invitation. Look what you could have, but don't ever cross me. They reached deep, fam. Didn't just send orders, they watched the lines too. Every runner clocked, every drop accounted for. Patterson and Grant ran the logistics like a warehouse team. No delays, no errors, and if you messed up, trust, there were consequences. They moved like Amazon, but with violence in the delivery. In it, socials added petrol to the fire, bare music vids with real members in him. Whips, cash, and low-key threats. In the bars, wasn't just for views. It was propaganda, sell the dream, warn the ops. Lohan Fogo, the youngest, always had a blade on him. Even though man was still young, he ran a line in Sutton, helped cook the food, shows you what the plan was. Recruit early, give him clout, then throw him into war, no training. Control weren't just on road, it was mental too. Addicts promised quick drops and pure food. Recruits promised stacks and respect. Brotherhood in it, but strip away the flash and the bottles. It was cold, transactional. People got used, then patterned off. They looked like a firm, but they moved like a gang. And for a while, they were clean with it, blood. No leaks, no errors, everything crisp. But underneath all that filtered content, the cracks were forming. Police started clocking the rhythm, watched the patterns, listened in, started with similar bulk texts in random towns. Same slang, same offers, same digits. At first, it looked like small-time noise, but when they joined the dots, whole empire got exposed in it. Nuts police were the first to spot the blueprint. Operation Reacher kicked off to crush county lines. They grabbed the phones, tapped the calls, followed the money. Same people, same paths. And bruv, it was the gang's own ego that cooked him. Handwritten notes, flexi TikToks, bare unencrypted messages. Feds just followed the breadcrumbs, tracked motors, raided traps, hit every spot linked to the big names. Inside, they found crack kits, burners, cash piles. The whole structure started folding. The biggest L, arrogance. Even after the first arrests, man was still moving food like it was calm. Cam Mantle got nicked twice, still back at it. Cube, still flossing on Insta, still posting champagne like the game was it. They thought they were untouchable. That mindset killed it all. Police started talking to runners, ex-users. Every story painted the same picture. Not loyalty, not family, just fear and illusion. Once the light touched their shadows, the whole thing started to collapse, bruv. One ray, one line, one spot at a time. This weren't just a bust. It was relentless pressure. And even the cleanest flex cracks under that kind of heat. The vids, the drip, the bars, all looked exposed now. Clock was already ticking. And when Knott's police moved, they moved with precision. Years of building, watching, linking with other units, all for this moment. What started as random numbers and scattered phones turned into a mapped empire. The mission, simple, take it down, brick by brick. Bro, when it dropped heavy. Raids kicked off across Notts, Mansfield, Sutton, Derby, Leicester, even up in Aberdeen. Blood. Feds didn't wait. They hit dozens of spots at the same time. Early morning, balaclavas, body armor, doors flying off, electronics snatched, suspects patterned. Timing, perfect in it. Some of them lot was still active, still sending texts, still pushing crack, still living the hype. Right until the door got kicked in. Inside the traps, it was all there. Live ammo, straps, hundreds of wraps of heroin and crack. Phones still buzzing from recent deals. Books packed with names, notes, numbers. Like bruv, had a full-on business plan for a trap empire. You get me? One spot had beer cutting agents stacked. Paracetamol, caffeine, scales, bags prepped for the next batch. But the mad part, the thing that hit hardest, it weren't even the drugs, fam. It was the signs, the evidence of youths being used like pawns. One 16-year-old, found living in a trap, under full control of a senior gangman, running food, day in, day out. No freedom, just fear. And the trail, it weren't just in the gear, blood. It was in the phones, the links, the locations. Every handset tied back to one of the 13 lines. Every road led to this crew. Every name had a role, from the top bosses to the street soldiers. Everything was backed. Texts, ledgers, witnesses. This weren't no random gang. It was a syndicate. Structured, scaled up, loud, brazen. And in the end, too exposed. The same flex that made him famous left breadcrumbs. And them crumbs led feds straight in. 12 men arrested, charged. The whole trap structure gone. But the real W, it weren't just throwing cuffs on man, it was the damage control. Cause this gang, they went deep into the bits, tainted the youth, made danger look normal in it. Now, cleanup started, and justice is finally running the block. June 5th, 2025, Nottingham Crown Court. This weren't just another trial, bruv. It was one of the biggest county lines cases the East Midlands ever touched. 12 men lined up. And this weren't petty charges. This was a full-on drug cartel, built on fear and violence, backed by strategy. Top of the list, Jeffit Fickler got slapped with 21 years, conspiracy to supply Class A, and possession of a loaded strap with intent to endanger life. He weren't a side piece. He was the one that built the fire, the architect of the violence. Next, C4 Cube, also 29, 15 years. Not just a worker. He was the face of it all, flexed hard on socials, posted bangers, pushed the image of that boss life. Even while on bail, he carried on. No respect, no fear. Raman Campbell, 28, 14 years. He ran a serious line and was guilty of exploiting a 16-year-old as a runner. The court didn't hold back, said he used a child for profit. The others followed. Cameron Manto, 6 years, 4 months. Lawan Fogo, 20 months. Patterson Grant, God praise Bowen. They all got solid bird. Every one of them played their part in keeping the empire running. In total, 130 years handed out. That's long. That's generational, fam. Judge Watson came with the bars. You marketed misery. You profited from addiction. And you manipulated the vulnerable, including children, for your own ends. The impact of your crimes will be felt by communities long after today. D.I. Luke Todd gave the final word. This gang is responsible for untold damage across our region. Today's sentencing is a victory not just for law enforcement, but for every victim, whether you got forced to deal or you were stuck in that addiction loop. The message was loud, the empire gone, and the statement crystal. In today's trap game, no amount of muscle or flex can protect you from justice forever.